Hello, everyone. This is David Ellis, and I'm back with another vibe show, Thinking in the Past. And so today, what we're going to be doing is part two of the show we did last week because we got a lot of comments about it, and we decided to extend the show. So once again, I'm going to bring in Amy.
Hey, thank you for having me again.
Hey, Amy, you recovered from our little mind-bending show from yesterday?
Man. Yeah, I think my dreams, something happened.
Yeah.
Something got sorted out.
This is being recorded after the Mind Bending show, which Andrew, myself, Dawn, Amy, and Jason did. That
Talking
was,
stick. Yeah.
yeah, that was the Talking Stick show. We took over the Talking Stick. And so today we are going to be talking about part two of common mistakes made by wellness and spiritual enthusiasts. So we did a whole examination of people who are wellness and spiritual enthusiasts. And today, what we're going to do is do a further examination of them because we didn't quite cover everything in the first episode. So, you ready, Amy?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Continuing from last week, let us start with the concept of making wellness and spirituality your central and only focus. So it's kind of like fanaticism, except it works a little bit differently. So this is how it works. Okay. I have become a spiritual person. I am doing, I don't know, let's use yoga, or I've become a gym person. But then I realize it makes me different than the rest of the people. So I got to push them away. I have to shun them. Because they don't understand me. And for that, I say, get over yourself. Amy, have you seen that kind of stuff?
I have seen that kind of stuff. I have seen that kind of stuff. And
yes.
Yes, I've been part of that kind of stuff. And it I don't even know where to go, but there's so many thoughts running through right now. Like, which one do I pick? Like, which one do I pick?
Oh, we have time, so you can pick which one you want.
Okay. So what makes them get on their high horse and think that they're better than?
I think it has something to do with I've discovered some new advanced knowledge that the other people do not have. They're ignorant. They're living, you know what? In the secret societies, they refer to the people who do not know spiritual knowledge as the profane. Okay? From which we derive the word profanity, which means is a lower kind of human being. And in the spiritual circles, you meet people who've been meditating a week, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, I can't be with these people anymore. I see all their flaws and so on. The flaws were always there.
Yeah, they were, weren't they?
Correct. Yeah. They were always there. Yeah. And they're going to be there after you get off your high horse.
After. Okay, but wait a minute. What about the inside that you do? You don't see your own flaws, but you see everybody else's flaws?
Here's the thing. I think a lot of people who fall into this category, they do projection. And so let's say they're looking at somebody, says that person is ignorant, that person doesn't understand compassion and stuff like that. It's because they themselves had a problem with it. And so they just try to push people away because they're different than me. And that's when you get into this cult-like behavior, right?
Yeah.
And it never ends well, Amy. It never ends well.
No.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because I watched a wellness coach. I will call him a wellness coach. And he had people who would come into his mentorships and wellness. This man was charging $25,000 for a coaching certification. And then I went on one of these internet boards, and there were a bunch of family members complaining that their family member went into debt, borrowed money from them just to pay for this man's courses, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, the problem with it is that this man promised them that if they got onto the coaching bandwagon, they could make that money back. And if they didn't make it back, it was because they're not trying hard enough and they need internal coaching to get to that level. And I'm like, no,
Hmm.
no, it's COVID. Okay.
Mhm.
People have
Mhm.
other things on their mind, like dying, I guess, than having to deal with stuff. But there are some people whose brains are very malleable
Yes.
and they fall into this category where they've gotten this new knowledge. It's like somebody becoming a born again Christian
Oh, yeah. True.
and they can't deal with you sinners anymore.
And they can't deal with us anymore. Yeah, it's like a hierarchy kind of thing. It's like, oh, okay, I don't get this. I'm not see, I can't even grasp it. I can't even grasp
Don't
it,
even try.
David.
It doesn't make sense. Look, I have had a situation where it wasn't a family member, it was a friend of mine, and he became a born again Christian. And I asked him why it is that he was pushing people away. Well, not like that, but not in these
Mm,
words. And he said to me, because the Bible says the light must not mix with the darkness, I burst out laughing. I
yeah,
could not contain it. That was some of the most funny shit
yeah,
I have seen in a while. Okay? The light must not mix with the darkness. That's the ethos behind that.
yeah, and it also feels like parroting. You're parroting somebody else's teachings.
No, it's when these people give
Yeah?
their sovereignty over, and the sovereignty says you cannot tolerate anything that is out of their league. So a lot of spiritual people are like that. I see it in their comments on social media. We're in a spiritual community, and you could tell the people that have gone a little bit too far.
Yeah.
What does going too far mean? It means that, like, if you have a family, you have friends, and you are the one who changed.
Mhm.
Own it. You are the one who changed. They didn't change.
Yeah,
Right? There's still going to be the same party people drinking alcohol, getting into
yeah,
bar fights that they were when you were hanging out with them.
yeah.
You have to adapt. And for that matter, don't adopt the evangelical, I must bring them into the light either, because that's just being arrogant on your part. Who's to say that you are right?
Exactly. That's right. That's why we are sovereign beings, because we do it how we feel it to be,
Hmm. I remember
you know?
you remember a guy called Frank Sinatra?
I do.
He sang the song "I Did It
My
My
way.
Way."
Yes.
Yeah, like that. I
It's exactly
remember these old songs. They were full of
uh-huh.
lots of principles. So
Yeah,
let's move on to the next mistake that
yeah.
is made: thinking that your way is the only
Only
way.
way. Oh, boy. I know.
Okay. I don't care what you call yourself. You might be a witch. You might be
Yeah.
what other little factions are there? Some people are witches. Some people are brethren. Some people are galactic. They're part of the galactic community. I don't give a shit where you guys are coming from. I really don't. Whatever you're learning and whatever information you have is only part of the story. Part.
Well, so true, and so the thing is, I don't know what I'm feeling right now, is that they learn this or whatever it is that they're learning, and then they don't. That's all they know. That's all there's no new learning of anything. Does that make sense? So, for me, I'm always like, "Oh, this way. Oh, this path. Oh, this looks, you know, the the thing that I wanna learn."
It's
Does
kind of
that make
funny because, yeah, it's kind of funny because a lot of people, they believe that this is the way that things should be done.
Mhm. In this particular way, it's very rigid. It feels very rigid.
They don't want to learn anything else, Amy.
No.
Okay?
Right. Right.
Right? And so they believe that people who are doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
People who are doing something different, they're how should I say, flaky, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like Amy, you just said you think this path, that path, and the other thing,
Yeah.
and they think that you exploring other paths means that you lack commitment.
Yes. Well, right. But it really doesn't to me.
No, because it's educating yourself. And for those of you
Yeah.
who think in this sort of narrow-minded way, whatever path you're on is not the only way. Okay,
Mm-mm.
because how are you different from a Christian or any
Right.
one
Right.
from the
Religion.
Abrahamic religions if it is that you are thinking in this narrow kind of way?
And I used to be this narrow kind of way until
What
I,
was that? What was that like?
well, I probably was like the person like, oh, I know everything. I know, but you know that I don't know the Bible that well. But
We're not going.
but don't go there. But what I'm saying is I followed the Catholic religion to,
Mhm.
you know, every week, didn't miss, like, these that's a sin, all these sins, that's a sin. And so it got to be where, wait a minute. Then I went out and I found these, certain friends, and you're like, you can do this, you can do that. What? Like they helped me open my eyes, basically.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand the value of actually learning different paths. Okay.
Right.
I've been in a number of different paths.
Mhm.
I've been through a number of different schools, a number of different initiations myself.
Yeah.
I can pretty much tell you that one thing, it sort of connects to the other thing. So, as an example, you mentioned Christianity. You're not going to understand Christianity really well unless you understand the pagan origins from which it springs.
Yes.
Okay? Because they don't understand what marriage is. You're not going to understand what marriage is if you don't understand where that institution comes from and where it originated from. All right? And its roots are in paganism. Trust me when I tell you that one. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of other things that you're not going to necessarily understand. Let's say if you're a Christian, and even for the people who are very spiritual, for the people who are into, like, I don't know, witchcraft or paganism, your history is entirely enmeshed with the Catholic Church. Trust me when I say that. You guys
Mm-hmm.
are very much enmeshed with the Catholic Church, right? Because paganism is not just like something that happened in Salem a couple of centuries back. This thing has been around since we were evolving as human beings, since we started to walk upright. A lot of people do not know that, and a lot of people just figure that they know this little body of knowledge and so on. And then there are people who become arrogant with it, like even within the little factions, there are little factions, sub-factions. So
Mm-hmm.
like Christianity has Catholics and Protestants
Mm-hmm.
and revivalists and Baptists and Methodists and all of those things. And every one of them believes that our way is the only way.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so true. So true. And I have to say that what helped me get out of that type of way of rigid, and this is the only, religion, was kind of investigation on my
Correct.
part.
Yes.
Investigating, why am I in this religion? I know that my parents brought me up this way. I never thought that I could get out of it, though. It was like it took these certain people that came into my life to actually say, no, there's another way. What are you talking about?
Yes, and the thing about
It's
it is that there's usually a punishment or consequence for thinking any other way apart from what
yeah.
that little path has for you. And I say to you that if you're going to surrender your sovereignty to any little body of knowledge, any little path, any little faction,
Mhm.
then what is the point? You are not,
Yeah.
you become a static human being. You
Yeah.
cannot grow because you're in this little corner of the world. Okay. So honestly, I would implore people who fall into this category, pick up a book from something you don't like and something you don't want anything to do with,
Yes.
and read that book. I challenge myself every day.
Yeah.
Okay? You're talking to someone who deliberately goes to uncomfortable places every day. Every day. And in yoga, that is actually called tapas, which is voluntary self challenge. Okay? So, Amy,
Yeah. Give me a book to read.
no, you
No.
could
No.
anything that you would never have anything to do with. Pick up a book
Yeah.
and read up on it and educate yourself.
Yeah.
Don't take somebody else's word for it or whatever the case may be. It's just not right. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which brings us to our next issue: the surrendering of critical thinking.
Ooh.
Let me ask you guys a question, because Amy and I had a very spirited discussion before this broadcast. So we're going to bring it in with a friend of ours, Klaus Wrigley.
Mhm.
Let's say that you're a Christian, and we're going to get to the spiritual and wellness people in a while. And I tell you, so today I want you to take all your knowledge out of it, guys, and just listen to this part. I'm a priest. I come to you. I say, yo, Amy, yeah, we're having a mass, and we're going to eat the blood and body of Christ. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what we're doing today.
Mhm.
All right. Critical thinking aside, that's what we're doing. And you're like, no, let's not do that today. Right. And so people generally tend to think that, oh, okay, let's see now. Yeah. We're going to do something very pagan. We're eating the blood and body of a man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Amy,
Which I've done.
you're Catholic, so you've eaten
I mean, I
you eaten a
have.
lot of that body.
And I was a Eucharistic minister. I gave it.
Oh,
The-
Jesus Christ!
I know.
Wow,
I know.
pleasant
Yes.
thoughts.
Yes. So, this is so fascinating because I never questioned it. I never investigated it. Nothing. No.
So you had a self-replenishing body which you keep eating and eating over decades, centuries, even.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds pleasant enough. That sounds pleasant enough. Okay, let's go to the spiritual people.
Mm-hmm.
You're a spiritual person, and I run up to you and I say to you, yeah, in order for us to ascend, we must all get spiritual wedgies. So the first set of people go up first, and we're giving wedgies out. You would think that critical thinking is going to click in at some point in time and say, no, this sounds a little bit off, a little bit wrong.
A little bit wrong. All the way.
But it doesn't for a
It
lot of
doesn't.
people.
Yeah.
You remember Waco, Texas? Remember Jim
Mhm.
Jones, Guyana?
Yep.
Yeah, so they're coming to break up our little spiritual club. So the best thing for us to do is to poison ourselves and die. Critical
Ah,
thinking.
I know.
These were spiritual people.
You wonder what they were. I don't know. Where did they think they were ascending, right? They thought they were going to go see God,
Well, they
I guess.
technically ascended in one way, shape, or
Yeah,
form or
in
another,
one way.
like little ghosts floating out of their bodies. They ascended. My point is, like, at no point in time did anybody think, yo, probably this was a bad idea. Probably I'm not going to drink the grape juice.
Mm-mm.
They chose to all go and kill themselves, and the prime directive is the highest directive you have in your mind, and that is survival. Okay? And they countermanded it because of stupidity. So, for those of you who have lost your critical thinking, for those of you who are doing stupid shit, stupid stuff, and I mean stupid stuff, I don't care whether it's pulling your earlobe at night so that you could see the.
What is that? Okay, I don't know that.
Oh, there's all sorts of things
All
on the
all
internet.
sorts.
You just need to do a casual thing. They
Yeah.
have people doing all sorts of stuff that has no basis in actual ritual or anything like that. People don't cite the sources from where they come from, and people just follow it.
Yes. That's so true. So how do you know? How do we how do you know?
I think that you have an innate wisdom. I think your
Mhm,
first directive as a spiritual person is to develop your innate wisdom.
mhm.
So if you find yourself on the monkey bars trying to reach the Palladians by swinging from one monkey bar to another, something in your mind should tell you, I'm doing stupid stuff,
Yes.
right? But if it doesn't, my suggestion would be you pick a book and you read.
Mhm.
You read and you read. Okay.
Okay, so wait, let me just stop. So that's like an extreme, like doing to me, that's extreme going on a monkey bar. I would know. Well, that's what is like the
But to
subtle
people, some people,
I
that would
know,
not be an extreme, though.
I
Go
know.
ahead.
But how about for just the subtle what would be like a subtle thing that
A subtle thing would be something along the lines of,
yeah.
I have my own little Facebook group on one side of the internet, and we
Yeah.
don't deal with the other people, the other spiritual people. If the other spiritual people are putting out content, we're not liking their posts. We're not commenting. We're not interacting with their posts.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a subtle thing. You want to know what that subtle thing is about? It is ignorance, lack of critical thinking, and ignorance, because it doesn't help the individual. It's a kind of insular thinking where we don't deal with these other people because they're different from us. They're in another Facebook group. So we don't click on
Oh,
their post. We don't like their post, right? We're in our little club here. And then you look at these people and you're like, I guess you guys are not developing and y'all are not growing anywhere, are y'all? Right?
mm,
So these are the kinds of things. It's better to promote the entire spiritual community as a collective.
yeah,
Competition is never a good thing. Collaboration over competition is always a good thing. We've said that several times.
yeah.
But people lack a critical thinking and they're fanatic and they're insular and they're largely underdeveloped. So they're going to stay in their little clubs.
Yes, that's a good I like that. I like
Okay.
that. Yeah,
So there is that,
there is
which
that.
which brings us to the next issue: common mistakes made by spiritual people. They don't read.
They don't read.
Okay, so a lot of people throw themselves into the I feel everything. I
Mhm.
feel this. I feel that. I feel I feel the universe. I feel a tree. The tree is talking to me. It might help you to pick up a book and learn tree language or learn
Mhm.
about what it is that you're feeling or how to increase it or harmonize it or refine it.
Yeah, yeah.
But a
Otherwise, it
lot,
becomes airy-fairy kind of like
you know what I'm talking about.
it becomes kind of like, I know, I'm thinking of that girl on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I wish I had this.
I
This up.
know.
We're gonna show it in the next show, I'm sure.
Oh, you have
Um,
to.
listen.
It I
Here's
know
how
it
you stop yourself from being airy fairy. I know a lot
yeah,
of you have gone past the point where y'all care whether y'all sound woo woo on airy fairy,
yeah.
but let me explain to you how you stay grounded with the rest of us that still adhere to gravity.
Yeah.
Um, you read,
Yeah.
okay? So the psychic sense, where does it come from? Right? How can I refine it? How can I expand it? How can I make it better?
Mhm.
What kind of psychic sense am I displaying when it is that the tree starts talking to me?
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay? Why is the tree talking to me? What kind of tree is this? Is the tree hungry? I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. You, when you don't understand what's going on, you pick up a book, you read, you listen to other people's examples. You may not have money to become going to a mentorship or whatever the case may be, but you certainly have a library in your hometown
Yeah.
and a couple of hours a week. a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sitting
Yeah.
down and reading, or talking to somebody who has experienced these things and getting an idea of, if you can't read, then do secondhand reading. Find somebody
Mm.
who reads a lot and pick their brain. That's how it's done. What you don't do is say, I'm talking to the tree, I feel, and it's enough for me to just feel. Because the next time you try to explain this to somebody else, you're not going to have the words to explain it. This is what you're going to sound like exactly. Yeah. So I looked at the tree and we entered into dialogue, and I felt the tree, and the tree felt me, and we felt each other. And there was a whole bunch of feeling going on. And everybody's looking at you like, yeah.
Yeah.
How about explaining it like this? I went into the forest. I understand that at certain points of time in the year and certain phases of the moon, my psychic sense is going to be greater. I exploited, and it wasn't accidental, I exploited the fact that at certain points in time of the year and at certain phases of the moon, my psychic sense is going to be greater. And I entered into dialogue with the tree. It was because I was relaxed. It was because I was in the mind space to connect with the tree.
Hmm.
Okay? I reached out with the tree not using force. I reached out with the tree using a willingness to communicate. And I began to sense the vibrations of the tree. The tree was reaching out to me. It was trying to tell me stories. Because I read a book and I sat down and I meditated on how to bypass the conscious mind, I was able to receive the transmission from the tree. Does that sound
Yeah.
different?
That does sound different. That does.
Yeah. And it generally allows people to listen to you a little bit more. Now, for those of you who don't care whether people listen to you because you're so woo-woo and you're so out there, I want to respectfully submit that you might have entered the category of being a fanatic.
Hmm.
And you're going to push people away with your airy fairy stuff
Yeah.
because they can't understand you.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree
Yes?
with that. I had to work on my that kind of sixth sense with the tree.
Yes.
Yeah. I had to kind of like um I had to decipher like okay, cuz this one tree was going to be cut down. And I sit on my patio in the morning, it's where I meditate, right? And I knew he needed to be cut down. I know it's a he. He gave me his name.
Hmm.
It was just so I just heard it, if that makes sense.
Yes. And
And
for
it's
those of
not a lot
you
of words. It's not a lot of words. It's like just little bits of words. Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Amy is quite the empath. She actually passed a psychic flashcard test objectively. She's quite the empath. Not bad, Amy, actually, for her first time, because a lot of people have been trying to pass that test for a while,
Oh.
and very few people have passed it. For those of you who didn't watch our last show, go to our last show and scan the QR code. There is a psychic flashcard test that
Okay.
is put up there for you guys. It's the same test that the US government was giving to its people when they were trying to train psychics. It's hilarious, but I don't understand why anybody would want to try to train psychics for espionage. But anyway, the case may be. Um, it's the same test. It's the same basis for the same test, and you guys can check it out and see where you fall on that scale. Okay?
Yes.
Which,
Uh,
go ahead.
no, I just wanted to finish with that. Your first kind of inclination is probably just a program, if that makes sense. Like,
Correct.
you have to take the layers off of those because that's probably not true. Because those come first to me. This is how
Hmm.
I discovered it. First you have to go through your programs and disassemble them.
Correct.
So yeah. So just a little thing out there that, oh, the tree is talking to me. Oh, it said this. It's a weird feeling. It doesn't happen like you think it's going to happen. How about that?
Correct. Yes. And you still have to learn how to refine that process.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Or else you're just you're like a ship on the ocean while we have the
I
ocean
know.
behind us.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You're like a ship on the ocean. You're being tossed about by the ocean. You have no control over your senses, psychic or otherwise, if you do not refine them, which means that you need to learn some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also need to learn when to switch it off. All right. I'll go back to my primary empath joke. An empath walks into a bar. That's the whole joke. That's where it ends. That's where it ends. An empath walks into a bar. That's the entire joke, if you guys get where I'm coming from. Right? So,
Yes.
I suppose the next thing that we should probably talk about from the concept of feeling and not feeling is this idea of trying to rapidly develop, like trying to get there quickly. I must transcend today. You know intuitively that people have been working at this for decades, right? But you are the chosen one, and you're going to ascend today. And you're willing to do whatever it takes to ascend today. So you hurry, scurry, helter skelter everywhere, and you try to do this, you try to do that. You like somebody tells you cut off your earlobe, and you will ascend quicker. You're going to do that too. You're going to do whatever it takes. This kind of feverish, fervent energy will not get you anywhere. And we know people like this, don't we, Amy?
We do. We do.
It will not get you anywhere.
No, unfortunately, it's not.
Chill the self. Relax yourself.
I just said that word, relax. That's the word I felt was like, you just relax into it, because if you force it, nothing comes from force. What?
Correct.
What can you gain from forcing something?
I think a lot of people they choose not to relax. They think that they need to get somewhere really quickly.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is you have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
You absolutely have all the time in the world.
Yeah. You do.
Right? Because if you keep forcing yourself to develop, you are going to be like the fruit, forced ripe. Have you ever eaten forced ripe fruit? It looks really cool on the outside, but when you bite it,
right?
Yeah.
This should have stayed on the tree a little longer.
Yeah, it should have stayed on the tree a hell of a lot longer.
Right?
Right? And yes, so the things that happen to people who are forced ripe spiritualists is that they don't see their blind spots because they skipped over the learning process. Yeah.
Yes.
And so what happens is that they develop what I call spiritual Tourette syndrome. Right? Stuff starts slipping out from the side, right? And it's hilarious to watch.
Oh my
It's because they skipped over the learning process. So the same people I described earlier on, these people that are in the little factions of the internet. It's my Facebook group.
Yeah.
Right? And then you put them on any kind of broadcast, and then it's like, well, I think this, right? And they're doing things that and people are looking at it like, yo, you need to chill.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
Don't be force ripe because it's going to slip. You're going to slip out and so on.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And people are going to see your slip, all puns intended. You remember that saying? Your slip is showing, ma'am.
Your slip. Oh. I don't. Yes.
So your slip is showing, ma'am. So there is there's that. And I honestly, even in that faction, even in that group of people, you have people who are way out there. Like you have people who want to become force ripe, so they go and get the tools of the trade, right? So it's not enough to buy myself a huge phallic crystal for $1,000.
No.
I'm going to buy myself a super huge phallic crystal for $2,000 instead. And I'm like,
yeah. Yeah.
All the prettiness that you have,
Mhm.
all the prettiness that you have the crystal, you have the little board, the little tarot cards. There are people with a million tarot card decks in their house. Not that there's anything wrong with that if you've mastered the first one.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
If you've mastered tarot reading, it would be nice. If you know how to tarot read, that would be good. There are people who don't even know how to tarot read and they have 100 decks in their house.
Yes.
All right, I'm not talking about the people
Right.
who already know the tarot. Okay,
Yeah.
there are people with tarot decks, crystals, magic wands, Ouija boards, dangerous, right?
Mhm.
Um, Ouija boards. What else is there? Sigils. There are people with pendulums, all
Oh,
that stuff. Their
pendulum.
house is decked out to the nines. You got the little chandeliers with the crystals in it and so on. And they have the amethyst mats and they have all the healing devices and so on. They don't know anything about these things. Listen, you
Yeah.
cannot force ripe spirituality by buying a bunch of shit, putting it in your house and deciding that
Yeah.
it's going to
It's
help you. If you
it's
don't know
not
how
gonna
to
come
use,
off well. It's not gonna come off well.
yeah, because they want it now. And they think
Yeah.
they need to buy everything now
Yeah. Exactly.
because it's too much work to learn everything. So listen, if you have a bunch of tarot decks in your house, please learn to read the first one first. And I would suggest you start with the Rider Waite deck because it's the one that has this
Mhm.
greatest spiritual egregore around it. Everybody knows what the Rider Waite deck is.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And so I would suggest that you start with that. You learn how to read it, or you find somebody who knows how to read it to teach you how to read it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you don't do is you find yourself, I'm force right, I have a tarot deck. I am going to go on a spiritual broadcast and read the tarot off the top of my head. You have no idea what you're playing with. You are
Oh, yeah.
you are
Dangerous, huh?
you are straining out your psychic sense. Why?
Mhm.
Because there's damage done in that, huh?
Yeah.
There's damage done to the individual in that.
Yeah.
When you are using tools and trying to amplify your reach and stuff like that and try to expand yourself to the heavenly gates or the pearly gates or whatever, literally and figuratively, without caution.
Mm. Yeah, so what do you do when, you wanna become a tarot card? I know it's like, networking kind of more
Hmm.
with people rather than looking up a YouTube, because how do you know?
All
Just because
right.
it has, 200 million likes or what, that does not mean anything.
Oh, ouch. Thank you. That would be the next mistake, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
Going on social media and expecting to learn about. Oh, the
yeah,
cringe.
because
The cringe.
there's not a lot of good out there.
Okay. 90% of the people who are on social media teaching you all how to do ritualistic practice, teaching you all how to read tarot cards, teaching you all a bunch of stuff, um, they didn't learn it from anybody. They probably picked up a book, read it, and they're out on social media and they're doing
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Guys.
Plus they can write up these little pretty, one page, what do you call them? Your page that you would say, "This is my business." And they could
Correct.
write so many pretty things that appeal to you because they know how to do it.
Right now I have an AI that writes it for, for the,
Well,
all right.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, I do.
you do. I know.
Right, so it's the prettiness and the stuff they get on social media and they say, well, I'm going to do a reading and stuff like that. There are very few genuine sources on the net.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you guys, if you're going to go the social media route to learn stuff,
Mhm.
here's what I would suggest that you do. The person needs to have a bio of their experience before you take them seriously. If you go to somebody's page and there's no bio, as in, where did you come from?
Yeah.
What schools of thought did you go to? Where did you learn to do this? Okay? And this is not academic elitism. This is, I want to know that
Mhm,
you have proficiency
mhm,
before I learn from you, before I give you money, before I give you time, energy, and attention.
mhm.
Okay? So if you started with the tarot cards on Tuesday and on Saturday you've opened up shop with you,
Yes.
if you bought the tarot cards on Tuesday and and by Saturday you have a website and you're ready and you're open for business, I am going to respectfully suggest that you probably need to do a little bit more work before
Mhm.
you decide to become a psychic or whatever medium, whatever it is. And for those of you who just go on the internet, you do a Google search for, I want someone to teach me tarot. And
Mhm.
the first thing that pops up at the top of the page with the most page visits and most likes,
Right.
listen, that these things are manipulated. Do not trust the
Yes.
digital age.
Yes. So manipulated. And you're being
My
manipulated.
yeah, my background is in law and business, but I am very much into technomancy, technology. And I could pretty much tell you guys that it doesn't, it's so sad. If you have technology and people are pushing the search results up to the top and they say there's a million
Mhm.
people who did these page visits and so on, it is because they're artificially pushed up to the top of the page in Google or wherever the case may be. And so, guys, when you're looking for people to teach and so on, make sure that when you go to that person's site, you look on that person's site and you see that that person is has some sort of background, has some sort of learning,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
sort of results, even testimonials. These are things that what people are saying about them.
Yeah. It's kind of word of mouth too. That's how I've found mine. Anyways, word of mouth.
Yeah, that's also a good thing because
Uh,
it's what other people are saying about them.
yeah. Yeah.
And once again, critical thinking is absolutely important. So, for instance, if you go on somebody's website and they're telling you about if you shave all the hair on your head,
Uh-oh. Did you do that?
then you will receive enlightenment because the hair is
Oh.
blocking the rays
Oh my
of
god.
knowledge from getting into your head. Hmm.
Okay.
Now that I
Hmm.
think of that, I could probably put up a web page in a zero
You
seconds flat.
could. You
Yeah,
could,
yeah, and
'cause
shave
you
your
did it.
heads. Yeah,
You
okay,
did.
all right. So this is if you use your common sense, use your critical thinking,
Yeah.
and approach it that way. All right. So here's some other ancillary mistakes that people make.
Hmm.
The type 1 and type 2 errors, assuming something is when it isn't, and assuming something isn't when it is. Okay? We call that
Ooh.
type 1 and type 2 errors. Okay? You have a spiritual experience. You assume it's a spiritual experience, and it probably isn't. Okay? Then you have a spiritual experience, and the universe is genuinely trying to tell you, yo, pay attention. And you assume that it isn't, it's just my imagination. Oh, God.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
And it's like, oh, it's just my imagination. Let me tell you the difference between type 1 and type 2 errors.
Yeah.
Okay? So, like that TikTok you sent me. You
Mhm.
go to Walmart, right? You run into the sliding door, the piece of glass breaks off of the sliding door. Okay? You pick up the glass and you take it home and you say, the universe is talking to me. No, it's because you weren't paying attention. You walked into the
I
damn
know.
sliding door.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yes. Yes.
All right? The universe is showing you numbers throughout your day. You're
Yes.
seeing 111, 111, 111 wherever you go. And you're seeing 111 at 11 minutes past 1, right? The car in front of you has 111 in front of it, right? You're seeing all those things and you're deciding, yes, it's probably my imagination. La 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 la. I'm like, and the universe is exactly like this.
Mm-hmm.
The universe
Mm-hmm.
is like, how? No, you thick, you dense. You have to be open to what nature is trying to tell you,
Yeah.
because here's something that I do know, and this is a piece of advice, and it's a bit of spiritual wisdom that everybody who has been in spirituality for a long time knows. When you don't listen to the universe, it stops speaking to you.
It does.
That's how people become dense.
Yeah.
If you don't listen, it'll stop speaking. Would you talk to somebody who's not listening to you? No, you just stop speaking.
Wow.
Okay? So if the universe is trying to show you something, the more you listen, the more it'll start speaking to you. For those of you, and we're going to get to that in the next section,
Mm-hmm.
for those of you who are frustrated that none of your practice is going well, and you don't know what the stumbling block is, I've reached a plateau and I can't raise any higher. I'm going to tell you it's down to the type 1 and type 2 error problem. Okay? Because the universe was trying to speak to you and you would not listen. You would not hear. You would not adhere. You just ignored it
Mm-hmm.
a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the times. So I'll give you a
That's a
running
good one.
example, an
Yeah.
illustration.
Let's do it.
You decide to become somebody who does magical operations. You decide to do a ritual. The ritual is to heal a family member who's hurt themselves probably in the gym, since we're dealing with wellness enthusiasts, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Like from our last show, my
Mm-hmm.
poor butt from the squats. Yeah. Okay. All right. It's to heal a family member. Okay. Then you finish the ritual, you put out your candles, and you close the circle. Okay. You go to bed. For the whole night, you are dreaming of turmeric. For the whole night. You wake up in the morning, you turn on your radio, right? And the announcer is saying, "Boy, love me some turmeric in my food." Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You go to the restaurant to get your breakfast. You go to, I don't know, Starbucks. I don't know what people do for breakfast stuff. Right? You go to Starbucks and Starbucks says, "Oh, we're added turmeric to the tea today." And you're not listening.
Yeah.
You're not listening. So you go home and your family member is in utter pain. "Oh my God, I think something is inflamed."
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't occur to you that you have had turmeric recurring and recurring throughout your entire morning. You say to the family member, "Well, just walk it off, man. Walk it off."
Walk it off.
What?
Yes.
What was the point of doing the ritual? Because the universe meets people who meet it halfway. God meets people who meet him halfway. You understand where I'm coming from, where this is concerned, right? The thing has been recurring and put in your face, and the universe can't, like, hello, hi.
Yes, exactly.
Turmeric, right? And so a lot of people choose to not pay attention, and so that is a type 2 error. Okay,
that is just look it up. Look what, maybe if you don't even know what that means, look it up.
Yeah, it means that you assume that something is and it isn't, or something isn't and it is. Okay, that's a type 2. Something isn't, but it is. Okay, so turmeric, the universe has been trying to tell you, give that man some turmeric.
Right.
Because he's inflamed and so on. But you asked for it in your ritual. You asked for the answer. The universe gave you the answer, yet failed to pick it up.
Right. Is it expectations?
Correct. You expected it, but you have to start from the beginning. So something doesn't end well if it doesn't start right. So if you are going to start magical practice or magical operation or communion or dialogue with the universe, which is what magic is really, right? Or manifestation, as the case may be. When you ask for something, it's a done deal. The universe is going to give it to you for sure.
Yeah.
It's your choice whether or not you're picking it up or letting it go.
Yeah, because
right?
that's true. That's so true.
Uh,
Whew.
That's type
I
1 and
love
type
that.
2 errors, which brings me to the next issue. When you are picking up stuff from the universe, use it wisely, right? So I'm going to
Mm.
continue my analogy.
Mm-hmm.
You've done your ritual. You've listened to this podcast, this broadcast, and you've said to yourself, well, David said the universe is going to answer me. So you dream about turmeric, you wake up in the morning, right? You announce on the radio says turmeric, you go to Starbucks, you put in turmeric. Ah, turmeric is the answer, right? Then you go home and you realize there's only 1 teaspoon left of turmeric in the bin, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to use that for myself. Let me just put some turmeric
Yeah.
in my tea,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's not what you asked the turmeric for. There is something called
Mhm.
reversal in this life. Okay? That is not what you asked the turmeric for. Because what the universe is going to look at you like, for real? Right? You just did that. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with him. When the universe
Mhm.
gives you something, use it for the greatest good and use it for what it was intended. Okay?
Mhm.
So a lot of people have these manifestation spells that they do. It sounds something like, I manifest riches and wealth for myself so that I could help myself and my family. Okay? Universe gives them $1 million. They're going to blow it on Ferraris, cocaine, and hookers.
Oh.
And the reversal is a hell of a thing. Reversal is when you do that disrespect
Mhm.
and the universe gives you something what we call a reversal. And what that reversal looks like is like, you may drink the turmeric, the person that it was intended for will heal, and you're going to get paid.
You're
All
good.
right? That's what a reversal is. Okay, when you are doing these kinds of operations and you figure that you're into ritual and so on, there's certain very narrow rules that you have to fit into.
Mhm.
Okay?
Mm.
And when you go outside the rules, trust me when I tell you, it's not usually a good thing.
Yeah. Whoa.
Which is why the majority of these affirmations, manifestation rituals, or whatever else, ends with, if I don't do this, mine be the reverse. Okay?
Mhm.
There are two popular endings for any of those kinds of operations. One is, so mote it be, so must it be. Let me
Mhm.
translate
Mhm.
that to English. And mine be the reverse. Okay? Meaning that you understand that if you break certain kinds of rules, things will be reversed. The operation will be reversed. Okay?
Yeah. Wow.
And that's a heavy responsibility, which is why it's not popular anymore. Nobody's saying mine be the reverse anymore. Because they know. Just because you don't say it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, however. Just so that
Right.
we're
I
clear.
was just gonna say. I was just
Just
gonna
because
say,
you
right.
don't say it in your little wording doesn't mean that it won't happen to you.
Mhm.
So these are the kinds of mistakes in terms of operatic mistakes, because a lot of people don't know why they're not progressing, which brings us to the last
Mm.
issue.
Mm.
Getting frustrated.
Yeah.
So you figure that you're that kind of person who should be somewhere at a certain point in time, but none of your rituals work. Everything you try to do work. You're trying to get more clients, and no matter what you try to do, no matter how many posts you put out on Facebook, no matter how many posts you put out on Facebook, no matter whatever you try to do, it's not working for
Yeah.
you. And you're wondering, why isn't anything working? Is there something that I'm doing that's wrong? I don't understand. Let me explain something to you. Have you ever seen a child losing its mind?
Yeah.
Gimme, 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 gimme. And the parent looks at the child
Mhm.
and say, yeah, you're not getting it because you're behaving badly.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Mhm. Yeah.
Frenetic energy manifested nothing.
So true. But how do
For
they know that what they're putting out, well, I get that they're frustrated, but, can they be complacent too?
it's well,
Do they really want that? Do they, you know what I mean? Like,
you see, the type 1 and type 2 errors always leads into that kind of horrifying existence. So you could be complacent because you're falling into type 1 and type 2, and then you realize nothing is working for you.
yeah, the plateau kind of. You plateau.
You're not going anywhere. You're not manifesting anything.
Yeah.
You are the world's most horrible magician.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Not only you're not expanding in your consciousness and so on. So you're not seeing the reality. Your psychic senses are not developing. You are
Mhm.
not expanding internally.
Mhm.
Your intellect is not developing. Your body's at the same rate of aging that it always was, and it's accelerating, and you can't do anything to stop it. Okay?
Yeah.
And people get frustrated, they get angry, and they want to do things now. And that's why people jump off of the spiritual path, because it's not working for them. So they go to that's how a lot of people ask, how do people go into spirituality, reverse, and then go into religion? It's because spirituality requires you to do shit by yourself,
Yes.
and religion allows you to outsource your stuff to some other being external to yourself. And it's just easier.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Jesus died on the cross. I should have a Ferrari.
I should have a Ferrari.
So right, so these are the kinds of things that happen. I would think that, honestly, Amy, I would think that people who fall into this category of frenetic energy, my first advice to you is to calm to hell down.
Mhm. Mhm.
Take a chill pill. Take a real chill pill.
Yeah.
Get some
Yeah.
etheric weed or something, right?
Exactly.
Not real weed. Chill out.
Yeah. Yeah. Step away from it. You know what I mean? Not step away from what you wanna do, but take a break.
Yeah, take
A
a
little bit.
tall glass of STFU, right?
STFU?
Yeah, don't let's not even get into
Okay.
that. Right? All
No.
right, take a tall glass of shut up
Yeah.
and chill out and breathe,
Mhm.
right? And start again.
Yep.
What you don't do is keep pushing the boulder up the hill when you know damn well it's expending energy and the boulder's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You guys
Exactly.
get that?
Exactly. Wow.
You guys get that? So when you get frustrated, you calm down, start again, start with the ability to close your eyes and get into what it is that you want to manifest, what it is that you want to do, right? Be at peace, do your operations or your work, whether it be
Mhm.
rituals or whatever the case may be, and just wait and listen to the universe in a calm mind, and the universe will start cooperating with you again.
Mhm. Yeah.
When it realizes, oh, you finished your tantrum now? We good?
We
Okay.
good? We good? Okay, we're ready to go. Let's go.
All right, because the universe is actually on your side. The only
Yeah.
person that's standing in your way is you.
Yeah. That's so true. So true. Yes, I
It really
understand that one.
is.
I understand that.
So, as an
Wow.
example, if you're an empath, just as an example, and
Mhm.
you wanted to refine the empath sense, then what you would do and what you wouldn't do, as an example, is when you see things that make you feel icky, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, family situations.
Mhm.
Instead of closing down your sense and trying to get away from it, expand it and see everything.
Mhm.
Okay, let
Yeah.
it come in, and then let your brain see the little nuances inside of them. Okay,
Yeah.
because what the universe is trying to show you and what your empathic sense is trying to show you is the nuances, right? Because let me tell you, a lot of people do not like the empathic sense because they don't like feeling that icky kind of
Mm-hmm.
nasty feeling that empaths usually feel on a daily basis. If they leave their house and go
Mm-hmm.
to, like, I don't know, a bar, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
uh, right? But I am telling you that that sense can be controlled, and it is one of the most useful senses because you could spot trouble from like a mile away.
Mm-hmm.
But you would need to recognize trouble first of all. Don't hide from it to be able to spot it in the future. Make sense?
Makes sense to me. For sure.
Yeah. So empaths who are listening to this, stop running. Stop running.
Stop running. Yeah. Well, I love that word nuance. I don't know why. I just love that.
Yes, you
It,
need to
it,
see the shades of emotions that people are experiencing.
yeah.
The shades of
Yeah.
emotions that they're experiencing, because what you look at as that person is just being unfriendly has shades to it, like insecurity, trauma, as
Yes.
an example, insecurity, trauma, and jealousy.
Yes. That's so true.
Like in a
I,
family situation, let's say
uh-huh.
the family dinner is an example, a
Yeah.
very good example of what I'm talking about. You go to a family dinner, and then you have siblings and so on, and one sibling is thinking, look at that, babe in
Mm-hmm.
total control of herself.
Mm-hmm.
BITCH.
Mm-hmm.
Babe in total control of herself, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who does she think she is? I bet she thinks she's better than me.
Mm-hmm.
You get my point?
I do. I sure
Right? But
do.
what the empaths will feel is just ickiness. But
Yeah.
when they expand their sense, they can see the little shades of jealousy,
Yeah.
trauma, and like all those different inadequacies and so on, right? And it's a very useful sense to have because once you see it once, you could detect it on everybody else around you, which may increase the icky feeling. I see why people shut themselves down, but it gives you an early warning system as to what to expect.
No, I've been training in that. And what I figured out, can I just share what I figured out?
Tell
Was
me.
when that would happen, I didn't understand the expansion, now I do the nuances. I would be drained. It drains you, right? And I'm like,
Mhm.
"Why do I feel so drained? I mean, that was kind of like a happy little party." No, 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 no. Because when you expand it, you you see all the, like you were talking about, the emotions in that. And then it's not, you go home not so drained because it's like, "Aha, I see."
Hmm. Hmm.
And
When you let it in.
yeah, when you let it in, it's almost the reverse of what we think we should do, right?
Yes, and it works differently for other senses. Like honestly, if you are precognitive, sometimes it doesn't pay to let it in, right?
Right, right.
Right, but
Right.
if you're an empath, the quickest way out of it, because the draining feeling you're feeling
Yeah.
is you resisting.
Yes. The expansion. Yes.
It's you resisting, like, yeah, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to see that. It's you
Yes.
that's draining yourself a lot of the time. So once
Yes.
again, an empath walks into a bar. All right.
Oh,
Guys, we've come to the end of our show,
yeah.
but what I want to do is give you an esoteric quiz. For those of you who are esoteric aficionados and spiritual aficionados, this show should have helped you with a mistake, but we're
Yeah.
going to hammer home the point by giving you an esoteric quiz. You guys try to pass this quiz.
Yes.
I'm going to put it on screen. You guys can scan it. Okay. For those
Mm.
of you who scan that quiz, try to take it. The pass mark is obviously 50%. Yeah, it'll test your knowledge and it'll test your abilities. Last week we tested your psychic sense. This week we're testing your knowledge. Any objections?
I love it.
And
I love
be
it.
willing to put yourself on the line because that's how
Yeah,
you know where you are. Okay?
exactly.
Amy, tell these people how they can get a hold of you. I think.
Yeah. Yes. I have a show called Unscripted, and it's where I have guests come on and I ask a question and we just chat about it. And it's like 20 minutes long. So if you'd like to get a hold of me, be a guest, contact me through Messenger on Facebook or Pink Moon Lodge podcast at gmail.com.
Excellent. And for those of you who need to contact Amy, my name is David Ellis. I am running Universal Citizen Media and a bunch of other things. In the future, we will be giving you guys solutions because I do realize where the spiritual community is headed in this technological age. So I will be providing you guys with tools to help you guys in your business. You can contact me at info@universalcitizentv.com. Okay. See you guys next
Bye.
week.
This meditation will aid in your recovery. If you've been experiencing cancer or any other serious illness in your life, this will aid in your recovery. I'm a spiritual counselor specializing in cases of trauma and illnesses. I practice out of the broom closet in Regina, Saskatchewan. I'm here to help you on your journey of healing and here to help you delve in, activate, and work with your body's natural healing capabilities. And
so very tired. 19 and so very tired. So relaxed. And you.
Hello there. My name is Juliet Karaman van Schardenberg, and I want to welcome you to another meditation to help you reduce anxiety and stress. Now again, I'd like you to take a moment, relax, settle down